Alright everybody, hello, this is Martin here, with round 3 of the Legacy Daily event playing Ad Nauseam Tendrils. Find the deck list underneath the video as usual. So at this stage of the tournament I am 1-1. For anyone that doesn't play on Moto, you need to go 3-1 or better to get into prizes in the 4-round dailies. So at 1-1, still in it, but one loss away from being out. And as usual, I didn't know what I was up against. I ended up being up against Grixis Delver. So let's see how it goes. So I lost the die roll. And this is a mulligan, right? Because, yeah, it's pretty obvious. 5 lands, no Brainstorm. My opponent keeps. I get this. Yeah, it's good. Fine. Probe and Therapy with a land, ritual stuff. So, but Probe Therapy and land is always tempting to keep, I think, in the blind. So, Underground Sea into Deathrite Shaman. Alright, so not a combo deck. So most likely a Delver deck, or I guess it could be Shardless. Let's have a look. Draw another land. That's pretty good. And just lead on Probe. I don't know. I have the tendency to just make them have to decide on whether or not, like I don't know, that would throw a days away on a Probe. It might actually be correct some amount of the time. So maybe I should just be playing out my land. But I have this tendency to just Probe pre-land drop. And yeah, alright, so the relevant card, of course, here is the Stifle. I'm sitting on 2 fetch lands, and Stifle also matters when we want to win. No counter magic, no cantrips. Yeah, this is doable, right? We draw a 3rd land. That could have been better, but okay, so now we have to fetch. So, you know, before he gets a chance to Stifle. And I think my instinct is just to lead out on Basic Island in case I draw like a cantrip. Although with the Therapy in hand, I should maybe have gotten a swamp. Although I do end up getting an island. And in which case, me getting an island, I actually should have played out the Tarn. I think it's irrelevant here, but just you might as well do it because you want to save your deltas as they can fetch the basic swamp. Like if you're up against the Hymn to Torak deck or whatever. And the reason I'm not therapying now is I'm still some ways away from winning, and the Stifle, I think I can just get it out of his hand. I have an extra land here, an extra fetch land, so I'm going to be fetching before I'm going to be trying to combo off, most likely. So I think the Stifle is going to get out of his hand anyways, and either way it's not going to matter as long as I can discard it later on. He's not going to be like, I don't need it to get the first ritual off or something, so I think it's better to just hold on to the Therapy. He might draw like a force or something, so just pass the turn. And he just taps out, plays a Young Pyromancer, and I think that's okay because he has like the Deathrite up to, and I have a land in the yard, so he has the blue mana for the Stifle, and he just wants to get a clock going. So I think that's okay. Alright, let's see. And we draw a Ponder, which is excellent. So I think we have to play as though he doesn't have a Stifle, a Daze, because then he can just Daze, Stifle, or fetch land, and we're screwed. But man, this is pretty good. The Deathrite is a problem, but as you'll see, my opponent, I think, makes a bit of a misplay on the following turn. Either way, I think this is a keep, right? So I guess we want to take the probe and draw the ritual next turn, then probe into the tutor for good times. Alright, so my opponent's hand was a Stifle and a Bolt and some lands. And so on his upkeep, I want to make him Stifle and use a mana. And I didn't do it on my turn, obviously, because he has a Pyromancer, so you would get another token. But anyway, it's just this is better, right? To pin down his mana. And I'm actually sort of completely banking on him stifling this because I don't really want to shuffle the top of my library. Although if I do, I still get like a blind card in my next draw step and another blind card off the probe, so that might be fine. But yeah, he stifles. Fair enough. And so he plays another land, and then he, oh yeah, so he attacks. But yeah, now he decides to tap out and play a second Young Pyromancer, and I think this is a pretty big mistake because I don't think the extra clock is going to matter that much. He already has like a fine clock, like doming me for 5 every turn, potentially growing if he decides to cast another spell. Crucially, though, he doesn't have the opportunity to interact with any of my instants or sorceries in my next turn with his Deathrite Shaman. He's still representing something like a single blue mana spell, so like he could have drawn another Stifle, but we'll see, as I have Probe and I still have my Therapy. So I think, yeah, I think he just loses the game now because of this, as we know what's on top of our library. Alright, and like one of his cards is a Bolt still, so he couldn't have Force. Alright, so we draw the Ritual. Like Probe. Another Young Pyromancer. Alright. Okay, so he makes a red mana in response to me cracking my fetch. I don't know if he's just trying to phase me or something. And I just get my land, and I go to try to move to my next main phase. So he has to blow it. And he does. He wants the 2 tokens. Just doesn't think about me like getting an extra storm count. Whatever. Alright, so Storm is now 2, and I just want to try and have a look and see if I could have won through the Deathrite. So Storm, let's say that he did not bolt, so Storm would be 1, Petal 2, Dark Ritual 3, 4 for the Cabal Ritual, and that would leave us with 3, 5, 8 mana. Use 1 to Therapy. No, I don't think so. So what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, we couldn't have done it. Alright, but we get to do it. And we crack the Petal for red to get to Threshold, shoot off another Ritual. We can actually just play out the Past in Flames, loop the Rituals, and probes if we need to, and then tutor for Tendrils. And Storm is 9. So yeah, and I guess I pondered to get cute or whatever. and we Tendrils him. So yeah, I think this game pretty much, I'm not sure I was dead in the water if he doesn't tap out, but it's definitely very crucial. So, alright, that was game 1. I'm back in a sec for game 2. Alright, so back for game 2. So for this matchup, I bring in 1 Carpet of Flowers. I also bring in 1 Chain of Vapor just to hedge. I'm not positive it's even correct, but just for whatever might get me out of like dying a turn, bouncing a creature, or relevant though, like bouncing a Grafdigger's Cage or an Allrod or something. Yeah, take out a Pass in Flames, because Death Rites means Pass in Flames is a little less reliable. And I also brought out the Sensei's Top. I think I'm sort of split on the Sensei's Top. I can't really decide in the tempo matchups if I want it. I kind of don't want it, I think, but it's just like I don't want to go to the long game against those guys. So anyways, I get this hand. It's fine. I think I really wanted a Ponderer Brainstorm, but I keep it. Again, the Therapy Probe. I have a Tutor. I also have some sort of kind of protection anyways. My opponent leads on a Probe of his own. Volcanic into Delver. I think I'm kind of more okay with this compared to like Underground Sea into Deathrite, but I'm not sure. Okay, so we draw another land. That's bad. And I still want to probe before fetching. I want to know what I'm fetching and what I see plus what I get off the probe might, influence that. Okay, so this could be a problem if the Delver flips. I have 4 lands, so on the surface of it, the Wasteland doesn't seem that big of an issue. No second blue card to pitch the Force, except for the Flusher Storm. Yeah, I don't know. This is doable, but I need the top of my deck to start working with me. There's one way. So I play out the Island. And let's have a look here. His Delver flips, and it flips off of a Stifle. That's a problem. Because now, like, my fetch lands. And yeah, Stifle's not good. So before him drawing it, I decide, rather on a whim, to Chain of Vapor his Insectile Aberration. And he Flusterstorms this, which I actually kind of like. I like that play. He gets to keep his clock. And he had another land. And the beats begin. And so he fetches in my upkeep. Okay. That's fine. You know what? I think what I was supposed to do here was to just crack the fetch in his upkeep, make him use his Stifle, and then get a proper Brainstorm next turn, but instead I jump the gun and I Brainstorm here. This isn't terrible. The thing is, I won't get to shuffle now, So I'm drawing. I'm gonna have to keep two of the. Well, sorry, all but one of these cards. And I put back Tropical and then a Therapy, and I think I should have put it the other way around because he has a Wasteland, remember, and these are all Tarns. I can't get to basic Swamp, so I'm gonna lose one to the Stifle, and then I'm gonna lose another land to his Wasteland. I think I actually, yeah, I think I maybe I screwed myself a little bit here. So I crack on his upkeep. He stifles. This means he doesn't have a second blue card though. He gets the Wasteland. Plays out a Young Pyromancer, so his hand is Force and a land, I think. Or a Force and a card, I don't know. So I decide to crack now. Get that Underground Sea and hope that Probe shows me something. Probe shows me a Ponder. And yeah, I make a gigantic mistake here. I kind of just brain fart all over the place and forget, choose to overlook or whatever, that he has a Wasteland and my only black source is an Underground Sea, and I keep this Ponder. Basically lose the game. Happy-go-lucky, take his Force, pass. I remember when this happened, I was like passing, yeah, it's all good, and then look up at his Wasteland, and I'm like, oh, guess I lose. That's it. I concede. Alright, back for game 3. I get this, yeah, it's a good hand. Just need a ritual and we're off to the races. So I lead on Probe, and he has a Wasteland and nothing else. I mean, his cantrips are gonna dig him into relevant stuff eventually, but so I just decide to fetch basic island, get around his Wasteland, and Ponder. And I think this is a good Ponder. The Probe also lets me dig freshly deep, meaning the first Brainstorm I cast gets to see 3 fresh cards. Alright, so he draws and places Underground Sea into his Delver, so he could have drawn a Daze or a Force. That's all we really care about at this stage, but we'll get to see, so no worries. Probe is a good magic card. And he did not draw anything relevant. And we Brainstorm. And this is either like wait a turn and try and get like the full win, or this is make a lot of goblins now. So we've got the Probe, Brainstorm, Ritual, that's 3, Diamond 4, Infernal Tutor 5, Goblin, and into the orange 6, so 12 goblins. I think I like 12 goblins from where I am right now, and he hasn't seen the Empty the Warrens at any stage during our 2 previous games, so I don't think it's not on his radar is what I'm trying to get at. So chance of him like having boarded in like Trickery or stuff like that, or enough of them to get them out to reach it, I don't think. I think the odds are in our favor. No reason to crack a fetch. Just like life points are going to matter. They might not matter, but like life points are what is going to matter if something is going to matter, I think. Get the empty, 12 goblins. Your turn, sir. Let's see if the Delver flips And he can brainstorm right now if he wants to ensure it flips, but no need for that because it flips on a ponder. Alright. Do your worst. Wastes my land, that's fine. Swings in. Yeah, I like that. I think he needs to do that. Him taking one less isn't going to matter. So we get in all of them, and he does not get there. He cantrips a few times. Probes, ponders, doesn't matter. Attack, concede. Yep. So that was it. 2-1 against Grixis Delver. Yeah, I think I won the game 1 off of a suboptimal play on his part. He won game 2 off of a giant mistake on my part, although that's not to say he wouldn't have won anyway. Like, my mistake was not shuffling on a ponder, and who knows what the shuffle would have showed me. In game 3, I think it's fine for him to keep that hand. It has cantrips galore and a wasteland. And I'm not and a clock. I'm not in favor of like mulliganing aggressively in Delver decks against combo. And MT was just good enough. Alright, so yeah, I'll be back with the last round of the daily.